folks. How you doing today? We're going to be doing some more work on the Scottish Gaelic Tattoo Handbook app today. Let me show you what we're going to get into. So hopefully you can see my screen now. This is my editor. Last time we got to the point where you could click on these phrases and you would get this place and identity screen. What we would really like to do is something a little bit more like, the mock-up here, where, let me see if I can find you a good example. So we click on phrases and then we click here and we've got this little list. Now, one thing that's interesting about this is that it's pretty similar to what happens when you look at clans. And so I'm hoping we're going to be able to repurpose some of that work. So what I want to do is take a look here and identify what our clans, where our clans screen is located. Because I think it's going to end up being pretty similar. So we've got that right here. We've got this UI view with the two child views. And the child view for clans, I think it's this segue. We've got this embed segue that goes over to this clans list view controller. And it's got all of this stuff on it. So what I would like to do is see if I'm able to copy and paste that clans list view controller and get anything useful. So I might not be able to, and we might end up just having to do this twice. Is this my clans list view controller? It's another thing I could do. Well, what if we do this? Because right now, the way we need it to look is actually, we might even be able to make it another child of this. Let's see what that would take. So we get in here. The first thing I want to do is check and make sure that we've saved all our work from last time. So let's take a look here. Yeah. Okay, get log -1. Okay, so let's save our work from last time first. So we add and do git commit -m. What did we do last time? We said phrase categories. Now navigate to a category specific screen. Git status, git push. Git pull rebase, git push. There we go. Alright, so we're ready to get started today. So right now this thing is going right here. So we want to do, and this thing is a phrase options list view controller. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to get rid of this label. Well, instead I'm going to put something else here, because we are going to need the text that we put inside that label. Can I delete it? There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to get a search bar. And I'm going to drag that on here. And it looks beautiful. And what I'll do is I'll drag, control drag to the left. Width is fine. And then to the top, it only wants to do outlets, which is weird to me. It's top space to safe area. And then let's do what we've already done. Let's do center horizontally in safe area. Looks good. Now let's go get a table view. And so what I want to do with this is set top space to safe area, bottom space to safe area. And actually the way I'm going to do this, which I like better, let's try this. Okay, so that's those. And then I think I added the wrong constraints here, so I'm just going to go get rid of those. See, this one I want to get rid of. I want to align the bottom to the safe area, and I want the top space to the search bar. I want to delete this constraint right here. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to come over to this thing, and I'm going to delete it like that. There we go. So now we've got our cute table view, and now I want a table view cell. It's going to go over here. And so that table view cell, let's take a look at the clan table view, because that's got a clan cell on it with its own constraints. So we can do a similar thing. This clan cell, I think, has a clan cell, yeah. So we're going to do a very similar thing here. So we've got this, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to come over here. Where's our clan cell located? We've got standalone views. I bet it's here, yeah, clan cell. Okay, so we're going to make a new Swift file. And this is going to be called a phrase cell. We'll create our phrase cell. And this is going to be very similar to clan cell. So I'm actually going to steal a lot of it. And we're not going to want this. This is going to be phrase cell. We're going to need this reuse identifier in order to keep these on our view, this view controller. So we're not, this is not going to be clan cell, it's going to be phrase cell. And that's going to match our name up here. This will go away eventually, I hope. There we go. Alright, so now we've got our phrase cell. We can come over to the main.storyboard. And this is going to be a phrase cell. So the other thing that I want to do with it is I want to add a label to it. But the first thing that I want to do to it is give it semantic unspecified, background tint. Let's take a look at what's on the clan cell, because it's supposed to look exactly like the clan cell. Pretty much. Clan cell. So let's take a look. Style, custom. Scale to fill, unspecified. Alright, so let's try that. Because this right here, this is our, what this is supposed to be. Our phrase cell. There we go. Not this. Because this is supposed to be our phrase cell. And that's the phrase cell. And what we're going to do is we're going to make it custom its identifier. I want to say that the identifier can be done. All right, let's do phrase cell. Great, so let's take a look at clan cell again. Selection blue, accessory none, none default. Let's go with blue. None, none default. Let's take another look at clan cell. Indentation 1, indent while editing. Scale to fill unspecified. So let's make that 1, indent while editing, scale to fill unspecified. I think user interaction is supposed to be enabled. Alpha, default, default. Okay, so I think that's the same. Now what remains is the height. So let's take a look at clan cell here. Yeah, so its row height is 80, so let's do that same thing. Let's say its row height is 80. Not automatic, just 80. Not 44. 80. Bam. Oh, it's beautiful. Okay, so now I want to say the last thing on the clan cell was a separator. Frame rectangle, position view, layout, layout margins. Maybe not. Alright, so this label. Let's take a look at the constraints on the label. Trailing margin space. Nothing. And then align center Y. Alright, well let's do that. Okay, so now we're going to do a label. I'm going to pull this in here. The other thing is, what is the font size on this label? $24. Okay. So we'll do the same thing over here. We'll say it's supposed to be 24. Pretty. Okay. So now we are going to align it horizontally. And let's set its leading and trailing space. And then we're going to adjust those. Right, so now we're going to go over to its constraints and say the trailing space to the container, instead of 146.5, we're going to make that 16 for now. And then for this, we're going to make that 16. And we might actually be able to get rid of this align center X. I don't think I want this. So let me go over here actually and get rid of it. Align center X. Let's get rid of it. And now I've got my system 24. I do want to align center Y vertically. Okay, there we go. So we've got a label now. What we're going to do is we will open our phrase cell over here on the right. Then I'm going to come here and go to my phrase cell. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the label. I'm going to drag over here. I would like to insert an outlet. We're going to call this phrase label and connect that up. Great, so now we've got our phrase label. Yeah. All right, so now we've got our phrase label. So the next thing that we need to do is go back to our phrase options list view controller, which is like somewhere. Here we go. This time I'm going to have it take up the whole screen. So we've got our phrase title. This went away. And the reason that that went away was that we deleted it, remember? So I'm actually going to get rid of it here. But we still want to use this category thing, which we set in our segue last time. So what I'm going to say is self.category equals category. Actually, I'm not going to do anything with that yet. Eventually, we're going to use that because we're going to do like our search with it. Okay, so now let's run our thing and see what we've got so far. Oh, that happens. I'm going to check my little phone real quick. Okay, so now we have to wait for this. Another thing we need to do is add our weight spinner to this thing. We just haven't done it yet, but I promise we will. You click on this. Look, we have our... Oh, whoa. Hey, get it back. Isn't it gorgeous? Just kidding. It's not gorgeous at all. We're going to fix that. Great. Okay, so that's what we've got. Doesn't look quite like this yet, but we're going to get there. Okay, so we got our phrase options list view controller, right? So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go over to our... And we're actually going to look at an example here with this clan list view controller, right? So we've got this table view. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to connect our table view to our phrase options list view controller. So let's go ahead and do that. The way that we're going to do that is we're going to get our phrase options list view controller app. And now what I want to do is go to my table view and make an outlet. Is it going to let us do it, y'all? Oh my God. Phrase list view. Let's call it phrase table view to not be confusing. Phrase table view. Let's just ensure that we are being internally consistent with our naming here. By looking at like clan list view controller. Yeah, we also called it a table view there. Okay, that's great. So now you'll see that we do this thing down here with the extensions. We're going to do that same thing here. So we're going to do extension phrase options list view controller. And we're going to make it a UI table view data source. Okay, and we're also going to make it a UI table view delegate. Extension phrase options list view controller UI table view delegate. Okay, so we've got this stuff, and we're going to have to implement the same functions. So what it's mad about right here is that we have not implemented the functions. So now it gives us these two things, and it's going to want the number of rows in a given section. And what we're going to do here is we're going to return from a list of phrases, which we're going to get later. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and make a variable for. So this is going to be living in our view controller, just like we've done over here, where we have our clans. So we're going to do phrases is equal to an array of strings, which we are going to go ahead and initialize like so, with actual parentheses. Okay, now eventually we're going to make a service for that, but I'm not going to mess with it right now. Hello, Chelsea Troy. And actually what I want to do right here is I'm going to append some stuff to our phrases thing. So let's do self.phrases dot append. What's a good phrase? I don't know any phrases in Scottish Gaelic off the top of my head. Cape Breton. Island Girl. Oh God. And birthplace. Great. Cape Breton. Island Girl. and birthplace. It doesn't matter. All we're going to do with that is make sure all our stuff is hooked up properly. Let's get rid of this to give ourselves some more space. Okay, so the number of rows in the section we're going to make equal to the size of our list here. So it's going to be self.phrases.count. Great. And then for our self-row index path situation, we are going to be doing a very similar thing to what we do in our clan list view controller. The difference being we are not using phrase table view. We're not using, so we DQ reusable cell with the identifier phrase cell, and that's going to be a phrase cell, right? And we're going to call this phrase label, and it's going to be phrases index path.row, which we're returning here. If this doesn't work, then we will return a plain UI table view cell, but we actually should never get there, okay? We should never get there. So let's run this and see that we've got what we need. Hand itches. I got like a cut on it. I'm lying. What actually happens is my cat scratches me, and then I have scratches all over my hands. And then I think my hands are dry, and I'm like, oh, I need to go moisturize my hands. And then I look at them, and no, they're claws marks. Yeah, we definitely need to add this weight spinner, because that's annoying. Okay, place an identity. Oh, our thing is not showing up. You know why this is happening? Somebody better know why this is happening, because this happens every single time. Let me see if you can guess if I like scroll up here and you can see what it is. The hint, it's in the view did load method. I'll give you a second to figure it out. We have to set the data source and delegate. This happens every single time. Ugh, every time. I'm telling you, every single time. Here we go. We're going to do it. So we're going to do self.phrase table view dot data source equals self. And self.phrase table view dot delegate also equals self. Run that sucker again. I'm so mad at myself. I feel like I miss that every time. This weight spinner is literally going to be our next stream. I cannot take it. Whoa! There's our stuff. Isn't it beautiful? Okay. So the next thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to get items from a service. And now I want to give you a, okay, I want to go to the plan service so that you can see it. So we're going to be doing something very similar to this. And what it's going to do is it's just going to give us some stuff to put inside of our phrases list. And eventually what that's going to do is it's going to go to a remote place and get our phrases from there. But we are not going to work on that yet. We're just going to work on getting the service in place with some dummy stuff in there. So we've got our service tests here, and that's testing sort of our base stuff. Okay. And that's testing our base service. Now let me show you a little bit of what this looks like. So where our service is, let's go back to clan service, clans list view controller, clan service. Yeah, so we've got this HTTP service, which serves us up, in this case, blog posts. We've also got an HTTP service that gives us strings of phrase categories. We've got a clan service, which gives us strings. We're going to do a very similar thing here, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste, and I'm going to say phrase service HTTP service, and it's a string, override, and we're going to return our 3 phrases that we made over here. Tape written. I don't know the significance of these phrases. Island girl, birthplace. We don't need this thing. So now I'm going to get rid of this. Now we're going to go over to our clans list view controller and observe. So what we're going to do here is, oh, in our services, did we make this a phrase service? We sure did. So now we're going to do, oh, Chelsea, var phrase service, and we can't initialize that at initialization time, so we're going to force and wrap it. Then we're going to assign it in view did load. So we're going to do self dot phrase service equals, and we're going to initialize our phrase service like so. So far so good, right? Except now what we need to do is we need to actually get our list of stuff out of the phrase service. We're going to do that with a view will appear method, very similar to what we did in clans. So you can see that I'm pulling that over now. This is going to be a phrase service, right? And the method in there is called retrieve. Let me show this to you again. So what we're doing here is we are returning these items right here. We're going to retrieve from our HTTP service that we made right here in web resources with this thing right here. So we're going to call retrieve completion, this is phrases, and we're going to say confirmed phrases equals phrases, error else return, self.phrases is equal to confirmed phrases. And then we're going to do our phrase, then we're going to reload our table view to reload the data. Now let's ensure that that all worked. And just like that, we've got a list view stood up that calls out to a service. Now, other things that we can do here, of course, include adding a weight spinner until that stuff loads, and various other cosmetic details, but we've got the bare bones of this in, so I want to end the stream here to give you a nice self-contained look at how you might turn a view controller into a table view controller that calls to a service with the infrastructure that we've created in the prior streams on this app. So with that, I'll see you next time.